Let's go.
Good evening. It's Monday, which means it's time for Enterprise at 8. Who's excited? I'm excited. Well, I'm not that excited. Okay, I'm kind of excited. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm not even going to ask anybody. I'm just going to keep going. Anyway, this is Live Along, a podcast, Star Trek Enterprise rewatch series. It's been about, let's go with 20 years.
20 years?
That's right, Trip, 20 years since Exile first aired. But we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8. I'm Jody Simpson, and with me is my co-host and the man who doesn't need to spend any more time in the armory, Adam Woodward.
I do not, or away from you guys. It's been too long. I'm happy to be back.
We missed you. We missed
Thank
you for
you.
sure. But Davin felt in pretty good.
I watched the episodes. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know, we thank Davin for filling in.
Always.
Tonight, joining us, of course, is Live Long and Podcast awesome producer and the man who always has a phase pistol under his pillow, Dave Mader.
That's right, Jody. Listening to your thoughts is so pleasurable.
I could have did without that. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the show is now over.
Whoa, we're done. All right. Anyway, and of course, who could forget the man who would want to create a web of crippling anomalies, Kevin Millard.
Oh, that's the best one so far, and I totally would.
I know. That's why I picked that one for you. Anyway, tonight's episode, as I said, is Exile. This is the 57th episode of the series, or season 3, episode 6, depending on who you are. And this is basically about Hoshi is contacted by a mysterious telepath. Well, he's kind of mysterious, I guess. And basically who offers to help the Enterprise on their mission for a price, of course. What are our initial thoughts? I know Dave hated it.
How do you know?
I have a theory.
Okay.
Did you hate it, Dave?
Yeah, I would say that it was not great. I didn't mind the subplot with the sphere and Archer and Trip and T'Pol and all that. That was fine. But this story with Hoshi was just Beauty and the Beast to me.
Hoshi and the Beast, yeah.
Or like Hunchback of Notre Dame or whatever. It's like it's
one
like,
of those, yeah,
one of those. It's just like the Quasimodo character, and I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like they were reaching here. You know?
Well, I know your cousin felt the same way, so you know.
Yeah, and yours. He's yours too, and everybody.
Well, he's everybody's technically.
Yeah,
but yeah. All right, Kevin. What about you?
I like it. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I thought you guys.
I don't
liked
have a
this
problem
show.
with it. I'm
starting to think that like Davin doesn't even like Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that.
Davin is so anti-misogynistic. If there's any bit of it in anything, he's just like, I hate this. You know,
is it?
He has like a knee-jerk reaction. That's my assessment.
I don't know. I like this alien was snappy, nicely dressed.
That's important. Well, to Dave, it's important.
I mean, it could have been better, obviously. I would have liked a little more of fucking with Hoshi's mind.
Yeah,
but
that would have been kind of
I thought it was still good. It was fine.
Yeah. What about you, Adam?
Well, I watched it on a plane coming down to Texas on Saturday morning. It was good. I didn't mind it. I mean, clearly the Disney reference was there. I got it the whole way through, but the story.
A tale as old as time.
Song as old as rhyme.
Song as old as rhyme.
The story works.
And
story works, you know, and I didn't hate it either. I thought, you know, we've seen the telepathy reach out to somebody. We had it with Troy all the time back in the day, and you know.
The difference between this show is it took us 3 seasons to get a telepathic talking to a telepath episode, whereas in Next Gen there was one every season.
Yes,
at least,
yeah, sometimes 2.
Voyager had quite a few.
Yeah, Voyager had a bunch too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's different
not so much though.
What's different about this episode, though, is that Hoshi didn't fall in love with him after knowing him for 2 minutes and decide to stay.
I'm also glad that she didn't like him.
Yeah.
Just to answer Sam's question, October 15th, 2003 is when this episode came out.
Wow, there you go. Dave with the real facts.
Well, yeah, and I guess like I had this like just like last week's episode, feeling like they're trying to go for this loose Halloween theme to these October episodes, perhaps. Like,
yeah. Well, let's be honest though, that wasn't uncommon back in the 2000s. Like,
not uncommon. So that's
October episodes were always like either like a mystery or
often were, or at least like the one the closest to Halloween would be. But they're going for like kind of like this spooky vibe, I find, in some of these earlier episodes, especially these October ones.
Do you find that they're also making a theme with the humanoids with the antennas out of their head and the expanse? They're doing it. That's the third one I think we've seen now. You got the reptilians. I can't remember the one several episodes ago, and now this guy.
Yeah, it's probably all of those intersecting.
I got the impression he was a Xindi.
No, he's not a Xindi.
He didn't look Xindi.
No,
all right. I'm gonna look that up.
I don't know what species.
Maybe it tells us what he is.
He's a species where telepathy is uncommon, and they exiled him here 400 years ago or something. And
but they set him up pretty good, Dave.
Yeah, they set you up to live by yourself. Why can't you live with others who are like you, though? Why can't
you live by yourself? But at least the place is nice.
You think all the telepaths could live in like a telepathic colony together?
So species is listed as unknown.
What is never answered though is he's exiled from his planet, but does he have to stay on this one? Like,
right?
Can he not just leave?
Yeah, that's never even asked.
That's
You're
true.
Right. That's never questioned. It just it seems like he's trapped there, but they don't make that clear.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, 1 in every 50 million inhabitants of his planet were born with telepathic abilities.
Okay,
But it doesn't actually say what his home world is.
But assuming he's from a planet that's like, let's say 8 billion people like ours, like 1 in 50 million. So what, there's like maybe a dozen? 6 people?
Yeah, 6.
No, probably like under 100 people like that in his entire planet, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very small population, but they don't, why do they all, I don't know. I like his whole backstory was very vague to me, and I think it's supposed to be, but
well, I don't think we need it.
Yeah, you only have an hour. I mean, we get an hour. And Dave, the story about the spheres was really, really cool. Actually, I wish they would have gone a little deeper into that.
That part was good. I was like,
the B story actually I thought was even more interesting than the A story.
Sure.
But we didn't get a lot of it. So
I get you want to do a Hoshi episode. I just like don't know if this was the story for her at this time in the show. Like,
well, the other Hoshi episode was where she went on vacation and fell in love with the dude.
Right.
I think a little more messing with her and her being in distress would be a better episode.
Well, yeah, hands down. Yeah, it would be, I think. Yeah. I think she did the parts where she's going a little she thinks she's going a little nutty and stuff. I think she portrayed it very well. I thought it was well done.
Hoshi.
Can you hear me?
This part, I was like, Beverly.
I was waiting for Red Rum.
Can you see me?
Can you see me?
Do not light that candle.
Yeah, do not light that candle. Yes, to destroy your family. That's my Scottish. Still not good. Yeah, lots going on. Lots of Linda Park in her exercise
in a
gear,
badly climate controlled view,
or she's wearing like these gowns and different things. It's such like a Disney like damsel.
I think it was on purpose, though. I think they wanted to.
Yeah, but you know what? What they're trying to do here is show the vulnerability. This guy has access to her cabin when she's, bathing and getting ready for bed or whatever. Just, it's not happening when she's on duty.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's gone. What was that? Is the teaser here? Can you see me? And then here we go.
Well, and the funny thing is, like a couple episodes back, we found out it was like one of the shortest cold openings in Star Trek history. This had to be shorter.
That was pretty short.
It was pretty short
because it was like only like 8-10 seconds. This one,
I noticed.
This was like the perfect length. It was like I got the point. Okay,
yeah.
But at least this actually teased what was going on in the episode and not some random crap that
they could have thrown in the other layer of the ship rippling and all that stuff too here. But I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, it would have been too much for this opener, I think.
Yeah, no, it sets up the episode fine, and for what it is, no complaints there.
Can I spoil a fun fact?
Sure.
Go ahead. I haven't got me.
All right, this is the first episode of Star Trek in high definition.
Oh, yes, it was. I did know that. That was a fun fact. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if I noticed a difference. But
Well, you're not going to notice a difference because they did the remasters, so
Oh.
all of them are technically in high def on Netflix.
okay, so
Yeah.
but
But this
cool.
was the first one that was broadcast in high def.
right on.
Yeah.
But it starts off here with like I don't know, Paul doing some science work in the command center. I know what you were doing in the command center.
I don't know why you guys are so upset about this command center.
I'm not upset about
it comes up every single time we watch this now. It's like they're in the command
Because
center.
it's cool they have. I think it's cool they have one.
I think
finally.
it's fine.
They need one.
I want to know how much they spent on that big screen though back in 2003.
Actually, good point.
Fortune.
Yeah, actually, at the time, this would have been something.
That would have been a hell of an LCD panel. Yeah.
Well, actually, they got LCD, like even these smaller ones, right? Would have.
They would have been cheaper, but yeah, they still would have been expensive.
When you add up this whole command center,
It's all well, they did. They spared no expense, Dave.
yeah, when you adjust for inflation and all those things. Yeah, but basically, we find out that she's like, well, basically, where we're seeing the spatial anomalies is where. Okay, headline is we found the sphere. We found there's a second sphere, and the anomalies are where they're intersecting. So now we can predict where they are,
Which is cool, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's a neat way of explaining it.
I think I watched a number of episodes together. Was this the episode where they were hitting the anomalies? Or was that
No,
previous
it's been going on for all
This
5
whole
episodes.
season, they keep
Yeah,
hitting
yeah,
stuff,
there was-
Hit
It was just like-
anomalies in this episode, though.
There was a few,
Yeah.
but not exclusively in this episode.
Well, 2/3 of the way of this episode, you finally get to see Trip, and he's in a shuttle pod, and they're going for the second sphere, right?
right?
Mhm.
So
But they're starting. I guess there's like this mystery. Who are the Xindi? What are these spheres? What's going on in this expanse? And so they're slowly, episode by episode, giving us little bits. And this is this episode they're giving us. While we have this other storyline where there's some kind of telepathic alien who's apparently going to give Enterprise all the information they want about the Xindi as well. So you can get a little bit here. But after that whole meeting with DePaul and Archer, where they're going to go look for the second sphere. Hoshi's talking to Malcolm and saying, somebody was in my quarters last night, and he's like, I've run every scan there is in the book. I'm like, okay.
yeah, Reed's kind of a dick in this scenario.
I was actually thinking the opposite. To his credit, he didn't say, "I'm not doing anymore." He said, "I was going to continue to look."
Yeah.
Well, probably because somebody told him like you can't do that.
Also, want to point out, B'Elanna Torres herself directed this. Roxanne Dawson.
Yeah, after that last one she directed, she wanted to redeem herself.
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah.
maybe LeVar Burton will be back to redeem himself too, and Michael Dorn for that matter. Sometimes they get these stinkers, but
It's just the luck of the draw, really.
and I don't even think this episode's a stinker. I think this episode's just kind of like, okay, moving on.
Is it because you think she has more talent and she's not used appropriately, Dave? Or
I just think that the plot of this story feels a little bit like recycled from past Star Trek storylines that we've seen in Voyager, like we've seen in Deep Space Nine, and also in Next Gen, but it's a little bit different. And it's a lot of the same criticism I've had of a lot of these Enterprise episodes where they're just like, well, what if we do this same thing we did on those shows, but a little bit different, And so that's my only critique, really. I'm like, it's not original enough for me.
But I think the same thing could be said about every current Star Trek, series at the time. Like, look at Voyager. Voyager reused tons of stuff. They put their little tiny spin on things, but they did use a ton of things. But
it's almost like they were afraid.
I agree with you, Dave. I think there is quite a lot of reusing here.
Enterprise, I feel like, is especially bad at it because they're at the end of this line. They're after like they're the last show before the whole, I guess, the Paramount production, before this era of Star Trek ended. And then, we're in this new era, but at the time, It was basically the same. They all worked at the same place, right? From the beginning of Next Gen till the end.
But you also have to remember what the whole purpose of this series was. It was supposed to get people into Star Trek, not the diehards. It wasn't designed for the diehards.
Yeah, so it was reusing episodes that worked,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, we can debate how much of this was for new fans and how much of this was for existing fans because
it failed in
absolutely.
its mission. If that was its mission,
No, it failed on both sides.
It failed on both sides.
yeah, it tried to be both things to both types of audience, and I think
they tried to throw
both.
some things in for the diehards and then some things in for the newbies.
Because to me, this is only for diehards, and if it's only for diehards, then stop recycling stories. Come up with new stories, or that's my feedback on it. But I like that they're trying to do this longer serialized narrative in the season, and I think when I get that stuff, I'm like, okay, let's keep moving this storyline.
But you've already given this 2.5 seasons. Like this is you're in now. Like
right.
Yeah, if you're watching in season 3, you're obviously invested in the show.
This storyline with Hoshi might have worked better in season 1 or 2 for me.
Right.
No, but
yes,
I think this, and I think what was the episode we had previously? A Region or even Extinction, which also had some.
Extinction was last week, yeah, and then Region I think was the week before.
Right. And there was some things here I thought was neat, like where she's communicating with this guy on the thing, and he's controlling he seems to be controlling the screens in the command center.
Well, you don't really know if she's just seeing this or if this is actually happening. Like they never really explain that, right? So
I think
she's
she's
just be in her head.
It's in her head, I think. He can't control.
I think it's in her head too.
He can't control these screens from where
no one else seems to see what's going on, so it is.
Yeah, it's got to be in her head. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like there's some creepiness here. I like some of the way that the shots are done.
It's awfully dark.
Yeah, very dark.
I liked the fact that like there was multiple instances of her on the screens with different angles. I thought that was kind of cool.
But there was also he looks like a little bit like Daniels too in that, the shadow.
Well, and I think that was on purpose. I think they didn't want to show the guy originally because they kind of wanted us to think that might be what's going on. At least that would be my thing.
So this is what I'm saying though. A little bit more of this would have done better for the episode. Like when he's
more screwing around with her head. Yeah.
I don't think they do nearly enough of that.
Yeah, well, they go out of their way to try to make him a sympathetic character, right? Like, so they want there to sort of be like, they don't want us to feel, they want us to be disarmed, but not too much. We see here where she's like taken into the world of where he lives.
Short answer, no, there isn't much that is as bad as Assignment Earth.
It's one of the greatest episodes of Star Trek ever.
Depending who you ask.
Yeah, if you're high.
Yeah, but
I usually am.
Well, there you go. Anyway,
I thought it was interesting here where she's suddenly. This episode really reminds me a lot.
Go back one. Adam's gonna tell us about these windows later.
Jody, there isn't that much to talk about. Be quiet. Save it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that these windows might be interesting later.
They might.
This episode, for whatever reason, really reminded me of Star Trek, or not Star Trek, sorry, The Matrix Reloaded. Like this whole scene where she's on the TV screens kind of reminded me of like that scene with Neo and the Architect, where he's like, blah blah blah, apropos, you're gonna go back in, and then this stuff here reminded me of like the fight scene in like the mansion in the mountains in that movie, where he kind of busts through the doors.
See, I think I've only ever watched that movie like twice, so
it wasn't that good.
I don't remember the other two being good. The first one I watched 100%.
First and third one were really good,
but this was the same year as this movie, I couldn't help but feel there were some similarities in some not in the story.
Decent CG there though.
Yeah, I know it was good use of CG and it was cool.
I actually kind of felt like this was an episode that mashed together the Squire of Gothos and Sub Rosa. They seem
interesting.
You don't need to bring Sub Rosa into this, though.
Oh,
I like Sub Rosa. You keep going.
So do I.
Sub Rosa is garbage.
Sub Beverly.
You like Sub Rosa? I knew somebody like that. I could.
Kevin and I both like it.
Yep.
Really?
I also like Spock's brain, but you know who's
I do too. think
I like
it's great.
Spock's brain, but for a completely different reason.
brain. What is brain?
What is brain? Anyway,
Do you have that handy, Dave?
Oh, I probably
that is a quote you should
Brain
have on your
and
soundboard.
brain. What is brain?
Powered by SteamYard. All right.
I definitely do have it.
We're
Somewhere.
powered by SteamYard, apparently.
Oh,
I think
Good
you
to know.
played it about 30 times when we did that episode. So
There we go.
yeah, I got it too. But keep talking while I look up the clip.
I don't know what to say. I'm waiting for brain. What is
No.
brain?
so she's in the medical with Phlox, and he doesn't see anything wrong with her either at this point, right?
But I liked how he's not dismissing her.
No, but she came back like twice within like 12 hours. Like in the
Yeah.
same, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, well, we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll
I
figure
got
it out.
it.
Brain and brain, what is brain?
That's right.
That's true. What is brain?
Sometimes a bad episode can be good by the nature of how bad or how weird.
Yeah,
it
like
is,
Spock's
or-
brain is a perfect example of a
Spock's
bad
brain.
episode. That's
Sub
fun to watch.
Rosa is great.
Sub
too.
Rosa is a terrible episode, and it is not fun to watch.
I can
Dude,
honestly
fantastic.
say for all the rewatches of Next Gen I've done over the years, I've only seen that episode one time because I couldn't.
Oh,
do
but
it
you are missing the.
Whenever I
subtleties.
go
Oh,
through my
I
rewatch,
always
I
watch it
still
first.
watch it. But it
Dave,
is-
I'm gonna go back and watch it this week for you, and I'll come back and
You should go listen to my Star Trek Radio Theater where I played Beverly Crusher. for
Oh,
that.
I will do that too.
It was so good.
Now I will say, the radio theater version was quite well done.
Oh, it's probably better.
I enjoyed it.
It
Oh,
was,
it was definitely
it was,
better.
a bit of
100
a
times
top
better.
version of Beverly Crusher, but and I think that Jessica played Ronan in that. Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, after there was this whole scene in sick bay where Archer and Reed are like, okay, keep her here until we can prove if she's getting these telepathic visions or not. So Hoshi starts helping to feed the animals in sick bay with Phlox, but then all of a sudden, it's like he's I guess it's not Phlox is taken over by this guy. It's just that he's projecting another hallucination to her, right?
Mhm.
I really liked this part. This, like, when he switches,
Oh yeah.
this was really good. Really well done.
Well, and it's very seamless too. And then
Yeah.
as he's talking, you're like, oh wait, that's not Phlox.
Yeah. When he
So-
says this,
Listening to your thoughts has been very pleasurable.
she's like, what?
And she's like, wait, Phlox? Is that you?
no, it's and then all of a sudden, like the world changes around her. But at this point, she's not even unconscious. I don't know. She's still with Phlox, right? She's still in sick bay.
She's
but,
still in sick bay, yeah.
Yeah,
But she sees his place, like she's there.
yeah. She's completely in trance, and we finally see this guy come out of the shadows for the
Hey,
first
Dave,
time.
Dave, excuse me, Dave. Go back one, please. I didn't take a look at that thing on the wall there before. I didn't see that detail. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's in like I don't know what that writing is, but yeah, there's some interesting things. And
It
we see
almost
this.
looks like a Hindu or something, yeah.
We see this guy for the first time. He comes out of the shadows. This actor Maurice Sterling, but this is with him without his makeup on.
Very good looking guy.
Yeah, he's from a couple movies like Smoking Aces. Done a lot of TV work. This guy and different.
Oh,
things.
Smoking Aces, that's where I've seen him. Okay.
He's one of the Tremor brothers.
Yeah.
with like Chris Pine and I
With
can't remember
Chris Pine
who the
and,
third Tremor brother was, but
I can't remember his name.
yeah. But if you've ever seen that movie,
That was a fun movie.
They're quite memorable in that. Anyway, so anyway, he like he's like, no, I need to talk to you, and that's why I created this like little rose garden scene for us to have a chat. And so she goes and talks to the captain, and she's like, yeah, he knows all about the Xindi, and
Why does everybody in the future have a receding hairline?
because in the future they don't care about baldness. Jody.
Have you ever noticed that?
That's what they
All the
asked.
men on this show have a receding hairline.
That's when they asked Gene Roddenberry, like, what? Would there
I
still be
wasn't commenting on you, Adam. I was just
I was,
saying.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if you've looked around at real life lately, but there's a lot of receding hairlines going on.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, but Gene Roddenberry said that no one would care in the future about such things. So even though he didn't want to cast Patrick Stewart at all because he was bald. Yeah, so I don't know. Talks out of both sides of his mouth, that Gene Roddenberry a little bit, but
Ah, well, he's dead now.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, she comes up with this plan. She's like, we can go to his planet and he can help us. And Archer is a little reluctant.
Oh, no. All you have to do with Archer is say, they might know about the Xindi, and he's there.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'll sacrifice you.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay, I'll call. He calls Mayweather. He's like, we're taking a little detour.
I'm surprised he didn't push her into the shuttle pod. Like, he's like, go, give me some info.
Right. So they divert their course and they head to this planet, and they head down in the shuttle pod. I guess it's what then we see it's the same thing we saw in the vision. It's this exact same place built into this mountain.
It's darker now, though.
It's darker now. I thought it was interesting. Uniform talk. Where are the jackets?
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, they wear them
I was
sometimes.
a little upset because I'm a really big fan of those jackets.
And there's
And
snow.
It's cold there.
Yeah, we see snow on the ground.
Well, it's on top of a goddamn mountain. Of course,
Yeah.
it's going to be cold.
She even walks
Yeah,
outside.
there's snow everywhere.
She walks outside
You'd
in her
think
like
they would clue in.
nightgown at one point, and I'm just like, that seems even more cold.
Maybe it's special snow that like it's not that cold, but it stays there.
It's powdered snow, or fake
Maybe
snow.
it's just decoration.
Yeah, they don't seem like it. They don't act like it's cold here.
That's
and
true.
so-
Actually, you don't see any breath or anything. So
no, so but whatever. Anyway, she's looking around, and they're looking for this guy, and this he's like living in Wayne Manor. This guy.
Well,
basically.
hey, I also thought the
who
way
are you? I'm
she opened
Batman.
the doors twice, right? But she's pushing them
yeah,
open.
yeah. Very futuristic style. Almost like he's like a rich reclusive millionaire type or something, you know? Or
Yeah, like he's got a pretty good setup for a guy that's been thrown off his planet. Like,
Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. It's a nice little place.
yeah.
yeah. And we finally get him come out of the shadows in real life here, and we see that he doesn't appear as the Maurice Sterling. He's now wearing prosthetics and makeup, and we see his species with all these tendrils coming out of the heads. As Adam noted, it seems like all these aliens in the Expanse are like this. Or a
They're
lot of
very
them.
insect based.
Yeah.
Beauty and
Yeah, but she doesn't look too happy to see that he's not Maurice Sterling. She doesn't seem too happy to see he's a weird looking alien guy.
Yeah, because she was ready to fall in love,
Yeah,
but then saw him.
yeah, exactly.
I didn't get that impression.
Fucking snappy dresser, though. I'll tell you.
He is very snappy.
There's like this shock moment. Like there's this before like the commercial break where they're like da da da, and she's like
Yeah.
looking, and then we come back, and then he starts monologuing, and
yeah, but the first thing he says is, "You're supposed to come alone."
yeah,
Which should be like 101 there. That's like showing up in a house and Chris Hansen's there. Like, you know, you're just like, whoa, hold on. Not
where
that that's ever
you
happened to me,
before.
yeah,
Hmm,
But you know, like that's a red flag right there. You were supposed to come alone.
yeah. But he's like, that's okay. It's cool, you know. And then he starts
It's cool. I'll
talking.
get rid of your captain shortly.
Right. And he says, well, I know about these Xindi, and he was talking about it. I don't what convinces Archer to like really go. Does Hoshi ultimately
The
convince
word
him?
Xindi.
I think Hoshi convinced
Exactly.
Once Xindi is mentioned, he's like, I don't give a shit about my crew.
No. So he's like, okay, I guess I can leave her here for a couple days. And
I want to know, what are the Makos doing today?
This is another hole in the plot. Okay, first he's got to go get something from the Xindi.
an
Right?
artifact. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Well, the
But
artifact. that
tell
they're
me
carrying.
why he has to go back up to the ship in the shuttle pod and then come back down. Why can't they just beam it?
Because they don't use the transporter. It's
They
like
use it for stuff. They just don't
Exactly.
use it for people.
Yeah.
maybe because they don't understand the piece, they don't want to risk it. I don't know.
maybe.
The only devil's advocate answer I could come up with is because they saw the transporter doesn't work too well in the Expanse, and they
Maybe.
try to-
Oh, maybe.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that, Dave. Good answer.
That's a
I'm
good
up.
answer, Dave. We're gonna go with that one.
Yeah. But they're go get a thing. And they're okay. We'll get. He has to like touch it. Apparently, he's a touch.
It's because Travis broke it last episode.
True.
Oh, true. Yeah, because you know the engineer is standing over it, and then you have Mayweather, and Mayweather's like, "I'll fix it.
Yeah.
I can
Ar-
be useful."
Archer can tell that this guy's hiding something, though. He kind of gives Hoshi the speech here, and she's like, "It's fine. There's 7 million people dead. I got to do something and help out, you know." And so he's like, "Yeah,
Right.
you're right."
But why wouldn't he leave like one of the the Marines with her?
Why aren't the Makos with them?
Good call. Yeah.
That's what I want to know. At least bring one of them with you. Why would you bring Reed?
Or
When you
leave
can
one.
have a
Leave-
Makos.
Leave
Leave
one.
Leave one there.
exactly,
Yeah, just leave one as an
Or
armored
two.
guard or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I'm sure this guy wouldn't have liked it. But if you
Well,
want to
too
make this,
fucking bad.
if you want to make this deal, then what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Anyway, is in this part where he touches the artifact, but he also touches her hand in this really creepy way.
Oh yeah, there's some
Um,
definite like old man stalker vibes going on here.
Oh yeah. And Archer always looks very uncomfortable with this whole situation, but he's kind of reluctantly going through with it. Again, he's blinded.
Archer's
by
like,
the
so
Xindi.
you were talking about the Xindi, were you?
Yeah.
You can have her. It's fine.
Yeah, as long as I get some Xindi info when I come
I
back.
just need some Xindi info. Give me that sweet Xindi info.
Yeah, and he's like, "You got a phase pistol?" She's like,
She's like, I can handle myself. All right.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be in her position at all. I think this is a very unenviable thing. But he's like, okay, we'll be back in a couple days. Hang tight, And so he walks out, and it's just her left there.
Of course,
And-
Reed has the only reasonable idea.
right?
Well, we could stay in orbit for a couple of days. It's not like he's asking them to stay for months.
No,
It's
Right.
oh,
And,
this
and
doesn't
Ho-Chi
have
talks
to
them out of that. Ho-Chi's like, no, we can't. We have to try to solve two problems at once, guys. It has to be this way.
You need to go flip a shuttle pod on one of them spheres there later.
Oh.
we don't have the
time for this.
luxury of hanging. Hey, look, they have candelabras, just like Beauty and the Beast.
I'm like this. This seems like so much like Beauty and the Beast.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's like, look, be my guest, leave not to the rest.
No talking
Pizza.
teapots though.
This was kind of cool, actually. I like this. That
The fact that it's Hawaiian pizza.
well, no, that again, he was able to go into her mind and figure out the foods that she enjoys.
I don't know. This seems like a violation to me. Like
Jody.
well, the whole episode really is, but
I think the food choices are funny. She likes pizza, hamburgers, and macaroni and cheese.
Even though we never see her eat those
But
things on the show.
I love the
but-
detail that these are from specific places. This isn't just
yeah, that's pretty cool
pizza.
though. Yeah, I did
This
like
is
that.
pizza from that fucking place in San Francisco that she likes.
Right. But he had to tell his replicator how to make these things based on her memories, which I think would be tricky. So I don't know, but
Hey, Kevin's right. He does look pretty snappy in that.
Yeah, he's got that. That's a good smoking jacket. Like he's looking for love for sure. I mean, that should have been the first thing that tipped him off.
He showed
He's
up in a
walking around
smoking
like
jacket.
that.
I mean, great if he had a pipe.
Does Playboy not
Exactly.
exist in this universe, or come on?
yeah, it's such a fine dining experience. He's like, welcome.
This guy's 400 years old. He shows up with a smoking jacket on, and he wants the girl. Come on.
Yeah, he
Oh,
want
God.
it doesn't seem specifically romantic per se. It feels like
Well, I don't think it's trying to be.
he's trying to. I guess he just wants a friend. He wants a
He
companion.
just wants companionship. I don't think he actually
No,
was
but
interested.
listen,
in...
every one of us felt a little bit. This is a little bit off. Like this is.
Yeah.
Oh, this is totally off. Yeah.
Right. What if he still? What if he didn't look like this alien? If he was just Maurice Sterling, do you think that?
I think
Oh,
Hoshi
he'd
would have
be married
stayed.
now and staying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Hoshi would
Star
be
Trek.
like, make me all that Hawaiian pizza you can master, my friend.
Yeah.
I will do anything.
I think the story would have been more a little interesting to see how if everything plays out the same, but he doesn't look like this monster.
Damn
then-
that
Or-
makeup.
Or he started as like the humanoid, and then it failed or something, and he ended up like, this is my real.
This is
my
what I
real-
really look
Oh,
like,
like
kind
the
of the opera
holographic
style.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or they could have did it like in Total Recall, where the guy takes his head off and it's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger. That'd be pretty sweet.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Marco Limo's in that scene.
He is, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ducat himself. Yeah, so he gives her this book to read with this ancient language, which apparently is like medieval Klingon. So we're told, even though it looks like Vulcan writing more than anything.
It resembles medieval Klingon. It's not medieval Klingon.
No, right, yeah. Just like this, but this is like this style of character looks like the Vulcan a little bit to me, but
Mhm.
But without a computer, how the hell is she translating it that fast?
She's smart.
Oh, come on.
she's a prodigy.
She's a wonder kid.
Come on. All right. Like, come on here.
Yeah.
It's basically a cipher. Do you know how long it takes to solve a cipher?
There's a reason no one else can use that universal translator. It's not that good. They need
True.
Hoshi.
Right.
True. So it makes more sense to leave her on a fucking planet by herself with some creepy old man in a smoking jacket then.
Because she has no actual work to do here, right? There's nothing she's helping him do.
And just
No,
occurred to me,
she's
too,
literally just hanging out.
It also occurred to me she never brought an overnight bag.
No.
But she must have, because she had her negligees and whatever. And
Oh yeah, we didn't see that.
Good
though.
point. Yeah.
And the phase pistol.
And the phase pistol, yeah. So maybe somebody else carried the bag for her or something.
Oh, that's what they did when they went back up to the ship. They got her
Whoa,
stuff.
whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa.
sorry. Water polo interruption here. Greatest game in the world, water polo. Where Archer's throwing his ball against the wall and then it gets stuck by an anomaly. And this is kind of the segment.
Which is cool. I
Leave
like
it
that.
there forever.
Yeah. Maybe we can just and somebody delete the ability to replicate this thing.
This is what I wanted to say before about these things. These anomalies look very dangerous, and really nothing happens to the ship except that kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah, but you think somebody would get like thrown out a window or something?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Or like in Next Gen where they went into the deck. Like
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the Makos are.
Maybe
Maybe they
but yeah,
fell through a deck and nobody knows where they are right now.
over a long enough timeline of being in this expanse, more bad things.
But
should
what's
be happening.
go back a frame. What is going on in Archer's head at this point? He's like, oh, my water polo ball.
Well, he knows why it happened, but he's not impressed by it.
he's another reason to piss him off. He's gonna be even more mad now.
Yeah, he's just always angry
grumpier.
now.
His
He's
grumpiness-
always
The
angry.
He's
part would
grumpy
be-
dad.
The best part would be is if they stopped on a planet that had a pool for water polo, but his
And his
ball
ball was stuck in the
stuck
wall.
in the wall.
That'd have been amazing.
Oh, and I play water polo is the greatest sport in the world.
Water polo is the greatest
Yeah,
sport ever.
if
Would
you
you
could show us
care
your
to
skills.
join us, Captain? I
we-
can't. My
we
ball's
demand
stuck
you
in
bring
the
your
Everything
wall.
else was perfect. That he had willing participants, an Olympic-sized pool,
But nobody had a
no
ball. But
ball.
nobody had the ball. Yep.
I love how
It's
they
like it's like playing hockey with one ball and then the ball goes away and you're like, oh.
Yeah. About the biggest bear you ever saw, Dingleberry. With the ladder here, it gets all like crushed up and like mangled. I'm like, couldn't that just happen to you if you were standing there?
This is what I'm saying. And there's a guy up there.
Why can't we have that? Because it'd probably cost too much to CG.
We hear about like broken arms and stuff like that, but like that's about
Well,
it.
people get thrown around all the time by these anomalies.
Right. And then we
Oh.
see that this whole section of the ship all of a sudden like decompress, like they lose the entire hull. It just like becomes liquid and then explodes. And
Yeah,
this
that
is
Very cool.
How did no one die here?
Well,
You know?
because those are like the rafters. Like nobody's there.
It looks
There's only 80
important.
people.
Those are all like, just tubes that people walk through.
Well, and
That's
this
the
is
catwalk.
to me, this is a fault of the show. They should be showing some death here. Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is
but you
major.
gotta remember they got a pretty small crew. You keep killing off people every episode, you're gonna have nobody left.
Have like 4 people floating away in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
don't
you
even
do that in
mention
every
them
episode,
after.
Kevin. You got a problem.
Well, they're
It's
trying to
not
get
like-
the.
It's not like with Voyager where they couldn't replenish their crew. They can get new ones, like new extras we never heard of.
They're in the Expanse.
well,
But-
for
What the hell
now.
what are they
Guys,
gonna do?
we
Leave?
only ever see like 10 people. Okay, so we're
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe it would be interesting if they were losing crew members and things like maybe were getting tougher on the ship as they were trying to keep the whole thing going.
Maybe that's why Mayweather is fixing transporters.
Or maybe they should just stop and get the Trillium D figured out before they do anything else.
That might make more sense.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, let's get a shuttle pod with Trillium D, and we're gonna go. And then he goes to to Paul. Maybe you should stay away from where we're gonna be outfitting the shuttle. And she's like, yeah, no kidding. But I'm like, there's a way for you guys to use this Trillium D in a way that's not going to expose her necessarily. I feel like there are safety precautions possible. But Archer's like, no, put all the Trillium D in the hazard room, and we're not gonna touch it. That was his.
Just leave her to hang out with alien guy. Take Hoshi with you, and then pick up T'Pol on your way back.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like, you think that with her being the Vulcan, that she would have the telepathy to talk to him, not Hoshi. Plus the Trillium D would have worked out plot wise that she doesn't need to be there when they're outfitting the ship with it because the humans aren't affected in the same way.
But remember, at this time, like Vulcan telepathy is not something they're born with; it's something they develop.
Yeah.
And at this time, they didn't do that.
Yes, I know that, but like
It's frowned upon at this point.
But it seems like the Vulcans would be more sensitive to telepathy than humans.
It would
You would
seem
think
that
that,
way.
Because that's
But maybe it's because our minds aren't as well trained that we can.
And what made, I guess Hoshi is like, yeah, this great linguist, and this is why he was able to talk to her or something. I don't know.
I think her talents are being wasted communications though.
Well, we already
Like
know
she
that.
should be like, breaking into computers and shit.
I always feel like she's an underused character, and I feel like she's underused even in this episode, like, which is supposed to be about her.
If you're feeling that awkward in this scenario though, why are you wearing this?
Yeah.
Especially since day one, she's underused, especially since day one, we're told that she is like a super genius.
Yeah.
Right. They don't
Right?
show that off enough.
Almost never so far.
And honestly, from the standpoint of annoying factor, you got Mayweather, who completely is annoying on the scale, but she's not. We all want more of her,
Mhm.
in the episodes, and we don't see it.
Yeah, I really like her. Like,
They should have just kicked Mayweather out.
I think she's one of the more charismatic
Mayweather should
members
die
of the
by
cast.
an anomaly. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, Mayweather doesn't have enough charisma. Absolutely, he's very much.
Well,
very
unless
wooden.
you want ghost stories.
But I like Linda Park a lot. I feel like she is not used enough, and the way that they used her in this, they're like, "Oh, we got a great episode for you, Linda. You're gonna be living with this monster guy in a chateau, and you're gonna have no real like actual purpose."
But we don't have the CG for the talking teapot, so we're not going to be Beauty and the Beast in it.
Right.
It's true. Actually, it would have been better also if like she had to stay because he needed her to help.
Right.
To
like translate something.
If they actually had to work together here, I would have liked this better. But
she's literally just hanging around eating.
And then like working together with him, he starts to get into her mind. Yeah. And that's a better episode.
But you know what, Kevin? That's probably right. Here's the turning point where she could have got way more involved in this.
Yes.
Right there.
We learn about his little crystal egg ball thing that he's able
the
to
transmuter.
Transmuter.
She ends this episode like cat's paw.
Right.
She's threatening to break his transmuter.
I will break this.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. He's like, he tries to show her how to use it, and then we gotta like get these flashes here where she's able to almost become like a telepath, but it's kind of confusing. Anyway, there's lots of visuals here. Want to see what she sees in slower motion? She sees Earth, and then we see Kronos and the moon, a little bit of Jupiter, and that planet that the guy from Quantum Leap was on, the prison he was running down there.
Oh yeah.
It was basically whatever stock footage they had. They were just like, let's throw this here, let's throw this one in. I don't know. That's that kind of hard. Yeah, back to Kronos again. Like, use this again. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was just like, okay, what does any of this mean? What's the we see the sphere. Okay, cool, but then things blowing up. More of it, like this is from the episode where Trip. It was with that guy, who was like with the mud water. You guys remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's from that one. I don't know. Like, I was just kind of underwhelmed.
Well, I think it's supposed to be all just memories of stuff that she knows of. Like, it's...
right. So it doesn't feel like she's doing any kind of telepathy. She feels like she's just using this to look at her own memories.
Yeah, she probably wasn't even in some of those episodes, by the way.
She wasn't.
Yeah,
absolutely. But then at the end, we see this Xindi reptilian, and he looks at her like almost as if he knows she's watching him. But I don't know. Are the Xindi telepathic? I don't think they are.
Well, have she even seen them? Have we seen? I guess they saw the dead one, but
we saw them in the council. We've seen them in the Xindi council meetings.
No, we have, but the Enterprise.
Yeah, I don't think she has though.
No,
she's only seen the dead one.
No, I don't think Hoshi did, but we did see them when they boarded Enterprise to steal steal Ragin along with the insectoid. So
good point.
Yeah, so not, but I don't. Hoshi wouldn't have necessarily seen that person, but they did do the autopsy on the dead one. So
hey, you want to touch my ball?
Yeah, here. Oh, very good crystal ball. Yeah, he's got like this Nosferatu like thing going on.
I like his finger prosthetics though. I think those are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're cool enough, but he's definitely supposed to be the monstrous kind of Quasimodo. Anyway, so she goes. They have their little session here. He wants her to stay, and she doesn't want to. And
now, imagine if this episode, instead of Hoshi, it was T'Pol. And T'Pol was going crazy. This would have been way more dark.
I think
Yeah.
we've seen T'Pol going crazy episodes. I would have liked to have seen a Hoshi going crazy episode.
I want to see a Hoshi kicking ass episode. That's what I want to see. I want to see her like get manipulated by this guy and then have like, and then she just starts like beating on him or something. That would be cool.
Does this strike you as odd how she's just walking around the mansion and then she goes out the window?
Not only that, she's got heels on.
Does she? Yeah, she's wearing
Yeah.
heels with like this little sleeping gown. And
No,
she's-
It's cold
I don't
there.
claim to be an expert in women, but when you're chilling, all right, you don't wear the heels. All right, you just don't.
yeah, and then we see the graves. You know, he's like, and then he's right behind her all of a sudden.
Well, and this gets really creepy too. Like the dialogue and like how she talks to him during this is like, ooh, this is getting
He's
really
like,
creepy.
I told you to stay inside. Who are these? They were my companions.
Yeah, but this is a
etc.
big leap. Like, why would he be so forthcoming with that information? Like it happened very quickly. This scene.
Only got 40
Well,
minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
42, including credits. But yeah, like this is. I feel like they were trying to do more than they had time for in some ways in this episode because they also had this other storyline on the sphere and they had more time eaten up there.
Which we barely saw anything of.
Yeah, but it ate up some time. You know, and then she runs away from him, and then he's like, "I'm back in my human form, so you'll talk to me." You know.
I like how they really don't put a lot of emotion into him though. Like when he's in the human form though, I kind of like that. Like he's not smiling or anything. He's just kind of like, meh.
Yeah, he doesn't emote more or anything, right? He kind of
Yeah.
he's trying to be the same character in both forms, which I appreciate.
Which I think is actually a smart way to do it.
But
Yeah.
again, to her credit, though, she didn't fall for it. She's, the same.
I think the creepiest part of this entire episode is when Archer's talking to her, but it's not actually
The fake Archer.
Yeah, the fake Archer is probably the best part of the whole episode, I think. Oh, look, Trip's in this episode, guys.
Yeah, he's going. He
There
pops
he
in
is.
and out. He's not in it a lot. But yeah,
We're only
they take,
3/4 of the way through the episode, but that's fine.
they take the Trillium D now laced shuttle pod, and they fly through some anomalies, and they go, "Oh, we're not dead. That's good.
It works.
It works." You know, seems practical. And so they're going along here. They cross into this sphere, whatever, just like in the other episode, and it's a little wild. And then they come out the other side, and there it is, the sphere. And he's like, "You're not talking about landing on this thing, are you?" That's Trip. He goes, "Oh yeah, let's go check it out." So they land the shuttle.
Well, technically, he landed on a sphere before Scotty did.
Yeah. The other thing too was, I
He's a
guess,
pioneer in crash landing on spheres.
they did this because they had to when they went through the barrier, their sensor thing got damaged or something, so they had to
well, they're just setting down so they can fix something.
Yeah, they have to fix that, but they have to fix them on the outside, so they get in the EB suits. I was like, good on you, Archer. Way to be practical here.
Aren't you always surprised how small the shuttlecraft are?
I love that though.
Yeah, like I'm not surprised at this point, but like, yeah, they're tight.
But if you look at the next gen shuttles, they're actually not that big.
they're even
either.
smaller in some cases.
Yeah, they're actually not as long
Yeah. But yeah,
until later on, and then they get longer.
Trip starts trying to fix it, and while Archer has his back turned, Trip, this great engineer, launches the shuttle. The
He
thruster
fires
is up.
off. He fires off a thruster.
This is like, putting the car, not putting the car in park, and you left it in drive, and now it's rolling down the hill. And they're
Yeah,
they're
that's a good analogy. I like that.
trying to like catch it before they lose it. So the shuttle.
I like the fact that it took them a bunch of shots before they hit it. I like that because like usually in Star Trek, it's like, pew. Okay, I did it.
because the sphere still has some gravity, right? The sphere is
Yeah.
big enough, so there should be.
It has to if that
Well, it
shuttle
has
is going
it has
back.
gravity because
The
we
shuttle
saw
comes
it
back
come
down,
back,
so
yeah.
it's only that little bit of thrust that's throwing it so high up there.
You only need a
Well,
little bit.
and these guys, by the way, are standing on it, so they're not floating away.
Yeah,
True.
they're not even using their magnet boots.
Yeah,
but
but they got the mag boots there.
But
so
they're
they
like, we're
could
gonna
be using
we're gonna shoot out the thruster so that it will crash back down, and then we'll get out of here with just the starboard thruster, I guess, But yeah, this is an interesting approach where they have to shoot their shuttle down. I was like, this is maybe my favorite moment in the whole episode.
But the
Really?
best
All
part
of
about
this
this
is
is
stupid.
they do it, and it didn't occur to either one of them that the damn thing's going to come back down on them. Like
Yeah.
they're just like standing there. They're like, "Oh, look, it's coming back down." Oh,
They
yeah.
yeah, so it comes back down and then it like hits the deck and it's coming at them and they don't even really try to move. But
Look at the smile on his face. He's got this shit grin going on.
yeah, he's like,
That's like, I'm sorry, Captain.
sorry, I almost lost her.
He's
our
like,
ride home."
I forgot to put it in park. Damn it.
Yeah, I forgot to put the parking brake on. Sorry. And yeah, so I guess like T'Pol and them are waiting around to hear what's going on, and some time has gone by, and then it's
Paul's
Archer.
like, it'd be really great if I was actually something special in this episode.
Yeah.
But I
Come back here to Hoshi now in her second nightgown.
like, how many outfits did she bring?
She's reading her book. He just walks into her room, doesn't really knock. He's like, "Yo, what's up?"
He's like, did you happen to see my fly smoking jacket?
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, guess what? Your ship's coming back." And
That is a good looking jacket, though. Gotta give him credit for that. Look at it. Looks great.
It's like a tapestry.
I could see Kevin wearing that.
Okay, for sure.
It
Kevin,
looks like
you'd wear the hell out of that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I thought you would.
Yeah, so she's like, "Well, I'm not staying with you, and I'm not looking to become your new companion and die here with you."
But I almost finished the book, Dave. I almost finished.
But I almost finished the book. Cool. Thanks for the book. Anyway, so then we come back and she's getting ready to leave, and then it's Archer.
This is awesome. I love this.
This is like the more disturbing scene.
Creepy
We'll find out
Archer is
this
awesome.
isn't Archer. This is whoever this character is, whatever his name is, trying impersonating Archer. In a form of hallucination. And he's like, "Oh, I guess we need you to stay here for a while because there's so much great Xindi intel, and we can't pass this up. We need you. We need you to keep the Xindi.
I hate to say it, but you gotta stay.
You just gotta stay. Like this. I gotta make this trade." So he's kind of what he tells her.
Well, and the weird thing is, she clues in once he says Mayweather.
Yeah, Travis. She mentions Travis, and she's like, "I was just thinking about Travis." But is it weird that?
But why was she thinking about Travis?
But what was
no one thinks about Travis?
Was it just is that what it was that he brought him up, and she's like, "You don't even know his first name. I know this for a fact." Like is that why?
she's like, wait. You don't know who Travis is.
You've had 2 breakfasts in all the time we've been out here,
and every time you call him Mayweather.
Yeah, is that why? I don't know, but something sets her off here, a little bit in specific, something to do with Travis Mayweather.
I like her facial expressions during all this though, because she goes slowly into like deviant mode, like she's
she's piecing this together, and she's like, "You're."
Well, I think what tips her off the most is that Archer is saying, "Yeah, stay." I mean, which is totally opposite.
Yeah,
of what he
would do.
Well, he did leave her here though.
Yeah, but she had to.
She coaxed
beg
him.
She had to convince him. Yeah. Right. And then we go back to Enterprise. We already know that wasn't Archer, but now it's kind of confirmed here. We see whoever's filling in for Hoshi here, this other ensign.
And the communications isn't working because Hoshi's not there.
No, it's not working. That's weird.
She's got a pin code on it, Captain, and I don't know what it is.
You notice Archer doesn't even try. He's not even like, well, clear it up or work on it. He's just like,
he's like, you're fucking useless.
You know what? It's Hoshi's way of making sure he comes back for her.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's what it is. She probably locked him out.
Yeah, and then they all start losing power all of a sudden on the ship. Like it looks like I'm not even sure how he's doing
this. I didn't understand.
No, it was a little convenient.
It was weird.
I mean, convenient, nonsensical.
I'm like, he doesn't have. Does he have this ability? Well, did he always have this ability?
Well, and when I got to this part, I'm like, well, maybe he can actually manipulate the LCD panels then, because like if he can shut down the whole damn ship, he could do that
from the surface.
We don't know why this happened, and I don't think it's ever explained.
No,
it isn't explained, and that's it's a giant
hole because they've established that he can only do his telepathy on her. He can't do it on everybody else. So it's not like he's.
But the big question is, when you saw the candlestick holder there, if you go back one, did you think it was going to start talking?
No, but I was wondering why he doesn't even have electric light.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but this is a very sophisticated.
Maybe he's
building.
not allowed electricity because that would be part of like his conditions on release or something. I don't know.
But then she's like, I got the trump card. I will break.
He's
your
like, you like this shiny little orb? Like, how does she not know he's got like 400 of these things? Like, this could be a telephone for all she knows.
She knows that he uses that to increase his telepathy.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
he
like
might
an
have a
amplifier.
closet of them.
He might not. So she's taking a gamble here.
No, they talk about this, and we're led to believe this is the only one. This was given to him by his family when he was exiled.
Oh,
Right.
okay, yeah. So maybe it's the only way he can still talk to his family or something.
Maybe. Or even to find another companion, because she says like, well, what happens when I die in like 100 years or whatever? And
maybe this is the way he orders his suits.
Yeah, but he's not willing to come back to the Enterprise again. Why did it lose power? Why is it dead in space? Never explained. But it comes back to life once he agrees to give in to Hoshi's demands here.
So maybe he can manipulate somebody and somebody has turned off all the power. I don't know. Maybe it's this guy. Maybe he hit the wrong button. He was trying to use the communicator and he ended up hitting the wrong button. And
But we're like all through this episode, we're led to believe that his power is Hoshi specific.
Yes.
And now he can do this to the ship. Like,
well, we don't know if he did it to the ship. It could just be a strange coincidence.
Yeah, it's very cat's paw again now.
Yeah, not great. Anyway,
hey, Dave. He's in the command center.
We're back to the command center, your favorite place, Jody. And anyway, we're finding out. Guess what? There's the anomalies are not quite where they should be, indicating not only there's more than two spheres. There's maybe a third sphere. You know, actually, she goes,
turns out there's more than that.
It's like there's actually way more than three. There's like,
I think they said like 90 or something, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of those. You know, and he's like, well. I guess each one of those points of light would be one of the spheres.
I think she said at least 50.
Yeah,
it would take at least 50.
And then he's like, "Well, what if the expanse is what it is because of these things?
Because Kevin Millard showed up and did them all.
It's not a natural phenomenon. The expanse that it's actually artificial, which it turns out that's the case exactly.
Well, and also, put some more emphasis on the fact that they should get the ship fixed before they go any further.
Yeah.
No, we'll just build phase cannons on the fly.
On the fly.
Tuesday,
Yeah. This guy,
Tuesday.
This is a guy who took a flight to Kronos without a phase cannon. But
Kronos, like, come on.
Yeah. Anyway, and then the final is this one of the final scene in the show where he comes up toward the quarters and she,
yeah, and this is the last time he's gonna do what he says.
He's like, what was
keep the book.
Keep the book,
Yeah,
and
she's like, good, because I haven't finished it yet. Or
he comes through. He's like, I will give you. I'm gonna actually give you some useful Xindi information now. As I say, I'm sorry, I guess is what he does. And then she shows up with it. She goes, "Here you go."
I do like how they ended this episode though, because it's very much a to be continued type ending, right?
Well, yeah, she's like, this information apparently is going to be useful. They talk about a Xindi colony where they're building part of the weapon, so that's kind of like where setting up the next episode, right? So that's
literally that's the end of it. Yep.
Yeah. So that's those are the screenshots.
This episode is not bad.
Well, let's find out. Adam, do you got the fun facts?
I have a few.
With Adam.
Missed that, Jody. Okay. So, as you said earlier, this is the first episode of Star Trek to air in high definition, but we wouldn't know because we see it that way every week.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the cool one. The stained glass windows seen in Tarkin's, and by the way, it's Tarkin, not Tarquin. Tarkin's castle are from Shinzon's dining room on Romulus and Nemesis.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Debatable.
Very debatable.
I like Shinzon. I like that character.
Yep.
Anyway.
The name Tarkin was a family of Roman kings in the 6th century BC. They were held in Roman history as the worst example of brutal tyrants, prompting D.H. Lawrence to quip. The Etruscans were vicious. We know it because their enemies and exterminators said so. But something we'll probably enjoy more, the Tarkin was also this namesake for another science fiction icon, the Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars.
Davin wouldn't like that. He'd be, get that Star Wars out of my Star Trek.
Well, they crossed it over with a name. Okay, guest star Maury Sterling goes on to appear with another Scott Bakula-led show, NCIS New Orleans. He appears in the third season as assassin hired to kill Dwayne Pride. Never saw the show though, which is
I've
Bakula.
never seen it.
Let me see if there's anything else worth talking about here. The plot of this episode bears striking resemblance to Voyager season 3 episode Alter Ego.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both episodes center around a lonely alien who projects themselves remotely to a member of the crew, which was Tuvok, in an effort to find a companion.
Yeah, that one in the holodeck who was, come live with me in the nebula, Tuvok.
Yeah. The prop piece of the Xindi debris that Tarkin examines has been used before as a cloaking device in Deep Space Nine Profit and Loss.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And let me finish it. But Brandon Braga thought that this episode was pretty crappy.
Must be good then.
He would know.
He would know.
If anybody knows crappy, it's Brandon Braga.
From the writer of Threshold comes this
Threshold.
That's actually my favorite part of this show is after almost every episode, the fun facts are the people who made this show say this sucks.
It's so true.
That's definitely come up a couple times.
I think you should go piece that all together because they always say it. So yeah. Anyway, that's about it for tonight.
Now, Adam, since you were here the last 2 weeks, Davin wanted to vote for you in your ratings, but we highlighted them in yellow just to say
That way we could course correct them.
He
when you
thought
come back.
Davin thought you would give Ragin a 5, and he thought you would give Impulse a 4.
I kind of like Impulse more than that. I'm gonna go up to 7 with Jody on that one.
That's right. It's a good episode.
Yeah,
It's decent.
you can keep Ranjan at the 5. That's fine.
The 5, that's fine. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. But Jody, what do you give Exile?
7.
7.
Just as
Adam.
good as Impulse.
I'm a 7 as well.
Dave's gonna be like a 5 or 5.2, just to be okay.
Yeah, I'll go 7.
And Davin's not here.
Davin would say it's a 2.
He probably would, but we'll let him do that on his own time. Okay, so we're averaging about just under a 7 because I brought it a little bit down. This has a 6.8 on IMDb. I mentioned directed by Roxanne Dawson, Philana Torres herself, full of strong.
Sam says it's an 8.
This is an 8. Okay.
He also says that Dave is a Karen, which, by the way, I love that comment.
I'm sure he'll keep doing it. All right.
That's kind of what I'm going for here.
Yeah.
And Dave will continue to complain to his manager.
Ouch.
All right. So those are the ratings. Jody, what's next?
Next episode is The Shipment. Enterprise discovers a Xindi mining outpost where components of the Xindi weapon are being assembled.
Oh, so this is like the good episode we've been promised for like many weeks.
I hear this one is good. This is what I'm told.
Davin hyped this episode up, so we can look forward to that.
And
this is what we've been promising Kevin now for 2.5 years.
Sam wants to
Yeah,
know
but
who is
I'm
the
enjoying the show now, so mission accomplished, guys.
Yeah. A couple other
Honestly,
questions.
I never thought it would go this far with him. So,
A couple other questions
Good
here
on
from
you.
Sam. What series has the best uniforms? Well,
Deep Space Nine.
which ones?
The good ones.
The gray tops?
The later ones, yeah.
No, I like the Voyager style better.
I think Strange New Worlds episodes are fantastic.
Strange New
I-
Worlds
I-
got some great uniforms,
I like the uniform in First Contact.
which is the same as the Deep Space Nine one that Kevin's talking about. Those are fine. Like, I don't hate them.
I also like the one where everything's gray and just the shirt's a different color. I like that one too.
I like the colors. I
like a bit more color. Some of the worst uniforms, are like I don't like those motion picture uniforms.
Motion picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
the first motion picture. Oh, they were bad.
Yeah, that was not good.
That's just bad all around. Everything
Yeah,
in that movie.
George
sucks.
Takei talked about that one. And he was like, there wasn't even a way to go to the bathroom. You were like sealed into your costume and you couldn't get out. He was like, there was such indignities.
Sam says Adam and Jody need to come on the DS9 pod sometime. I don't don't know why. Why would I wouldn't need to be on that?
Well, hey, you're always welcome, guys. Jeff Mader barely there, so you could come fill in for him. You know,
Totally his show, but you know.
yeah. So yeah, come on in. And
Yeah, most of last week was just me and Dave.
probably
They stopped wearing astronaut uniforms.
after Enterprise, presumably.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, they won them in First Contact.
Well, it depends
good
what
point.
you consider.
As always, well, those are EV suits. They're not really
All right, fair enough.
astronaut suits. Yeah. Well, these are technically EV suits too, though. They're environmental suits. They use them for that.
Yeah, it depends what you consider an astronaut suit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
If you're talking about the Enterprise style uniform, not standing, I feel like that.
But Dave, do you know what also has style?
What's that?
All the other shows on this channel.
That's right, Jody. Good segue. We got our Deep Space Nine podcast, as we just mentioned, Tuesday nights. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about what comes next.
Inquisition, I think.
Inquisition's tomorrow. The one where Bashir and Section 31 and all that was first introduced.
Man.
I thought you like Section 31.
I do, but I don't like Bashir. So it's hard for me.
Oh,
What a
That's a good
contradiction. So we'll be talking about that one. Of course, this Thursday, Star Trek Picard's season 3 is getting underway here on Live Long and Podcast. I won't be able to join you
Did
guys.
you see the episode name though?
The Next Generation.
The Next Generation. I
How
like
original. Yes, and they've released the first couple titles of these Picard
Actually, I like the
episodes.
titles. Yeah.
So yeah, we got the Next Generation. Disengage instead of engage. Disengage. 17 seconds. No win scenario. Imposter and Bounty are the names of the first 6 episodes of Star Trek Picard. So you guys are going to be on this Thursday night to talk about that. Davin will be joining you. I will not be able to come in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Davin and I and whoever else shows up.
Adam
I'll
and
be there.
Kevin.
Adam.
Yeah, it's
Kevin,
a
you
crew
showing up
here.
too? All right. It's going to be a party.
Yeah. They will be here to talk about Picard, but Sam, they will not be here to be watching Big Brother Canada 11.
Jody, Kevin, and Adam,
Nope.
will you watch BB Can 11?
See, I didn't even
Are
know
you
that
going
was.
to be on it? If no, then no.
Yeah.
Either Dave has to be on it or you have to be on
I
it.
will not
Sam,
be
before
on
I
it.
would
I
watch
can
it.
tell you that much. Which is a good segue here. But also check out all the great podcasts we do here on Live Long and Podcast, including Locutors of Treks, the Science Divisions, our Treckle Trunks, where we talk about comic books. We talk about Star Trek Online. Many great podcasts.
What's the one where Davin plays with himself on a board?
Oh, that's called Hero Clicks, and it's like
Why?
you'd have to ask Davin, but it's like
Okay.
a Dungeons and Dragons kind of game or
Yeah, I
something.
get that, but that was my first comment on that video. I was like, what
I
the
was
hell is
like-
this?
I was watching it. They had like the board there, and they were playing with the board out. I was like, okay, that's different.
Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah. So great stuff here on
Each of
Live
their
Long and
own.
Podcast. We're also part of a federation of podcasts, if you didn't know.
A united one even.
A United Federation podcast. We got shows like the KBBBL podcast that comes out every Fridays with Davin and Francis and Baker. That's a Simpsons podcast. I was just on it with Eamon talking
were you?
about. We were talking about the episode where Bart goes to France. It's called The Crepes of Wrath.
Grapes of Wrath,
It was a lot of fun. Talking
yeah.
about that one.
He's like part of the exchange thing or something, right?
Yeah, and there's like the Albanian who comes to America. Lives
Yeah,
with
and like he's
Simpsons.
being abused basically by the
French.
foster
They're
care.
like,
Yeah.
you're like,
Family.
you can sleep on the floor. Don't you bother Maurice, our donkey. And like, there's some funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's been going on. We also have in the Federation the Super Mater Brothers podcast, which is TV focused largely. We are going to be back next week to talk about the Survivor 44 draft and cast preview.
Does Jeff show up for that one?
Maybe I'll be on with Foster and Jaemeel, and maybe Jeff to next Wednesday night. But before
it's
that
the Mater
happens,
brothers.
and then but before that, we have the Mary Mater Marvel Society also on the Super Mater Brothers channel, and I'll be on this Friday to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp in Quantum Mania with Davin.
Well, that's the reason why you're missing Picard, right?
That's why I'm missing Picard, so I can see this movie on Thursday. And then
I
we'll
have
talk
a
about
funny
Friday. feeling.
feeling you're going to regret it.
We'll see. I'm still going to watch Picard that morning. You will have my rating in the spreadsheet when you guys do your podcast, so you will at least
All right.
you'll at least know if I liked it or not. If you were on the edge of your seat about that. Other great podcasts here on the Federation include the Hellbound podcast. Alex Blackburn, Michael Chan. That comes out on Wednesdays, audio only. X-Rated, the X-Men, the animated review show with Davin and Andre on Tuesdays, going through all those episodes from that great cartoon series. The Graphics History podcast with Andre, and he's going to be interviewing Michael Chan. I think he's going to be coming on that podcast very soon to do an interview. And
That seems like an easy one.
an easy one
Didn't
to get.
really have to too hard to get that.
Well, they're
get
fellow
finished on that
Federation
one.
members, so they,
Yeah,
they were able to get that going. And Hold Up, which Jody, you were just on last Wednesday with
yes.
Murphy and Davin, talking about 3 spy movies.
It was a lot of fun until the microphone started going nuts.
Oh, okay. I haven't got to that part of the podcast.
Wasn't mine, but
Yeah.
Murphy had some mic issues, unfortunately. But yeah, we talked about 3 movies. What were they? They were
Atomic Blonde.
North by Northwest, Atomic Blonde, and Ronin.
Yeah, interesting theme. So cool stuff. Check that one out.
You're going to be on one shortly too, aren't you?
What's that?
Oh no, you were just on one.
I was just on, but I'm set up in the future to come on some other ones like Alien. I'm coming on the Alien themed one and the science fiction one or something.
Nice.
So I'll be back on Hold Up, and Trivial Debates coming up. Our most recent episode featured Jaemeel Robinson hosting with Foster, myself, and my brother Jeff competing. We are going to be doing a loved themed Trivial Debates this February. Eamon Mater is set to host with at least Jody and Davin competing, and we're looking for a 3rd contestant. So
It should be Kevin.
we're trying to find out
Or Adam.
who that's going to be. Yes,
Should be
so,
one of the 2. When I think love, I think Kevin. So I think Kevin needs to be the one.
Yeah, it could be. And then we're gonna in March we're gonna be doing a wrestling themed one.
You can count me out on that one, Chief.
Yeah, that's fine. So we got some great stuff coming up in the near future here on the United Federation podcast. Thanks for
Indeed.
if you've gone this far. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Well, I guess that's about it.
I guess that's it. We will see you next time, and live long and podcast.
I
everybody.
think you need to play out some brains.
Oh no, I got a better one.
Sorry for this episode.
Yeah.
The next time you invite someone for a visit, you might want to let them know that you're looking for a lifelong companion.
I do that